Hi, I'm Alex from Region Off-Road, and today I'm going to show you replacement Nutserts for 2003 to 2006 Jeep Wrangler TJs and LJs. Alright, so first thing I'm going to show you here is the replacement Nutserts that we sell. These are made in the US. They are yellow zinc plated. They are 11/16 diameter on the body, so they are larger diameter than the factory Nutserts. They have a knurled gripping section, which will decrease the likelihood of these Nutserts spinning out in the future. If you have a Nutsert spinning out, that's probably why you're watching this video. If you want to take your skid plate down and the bolt is just spinning and not being unscrewed, then this is what you need to replace in it. The next thing that comes with this is the tool. And I sell these, either you can buy just the Nutserts on their own, the Nutserts with the tool, or the Nutserts with the tool and the bolts. So the tool consists of a tap bolt, a nut, a washer, and a thrust bearing, and the instructions to go with it. And then the last thing here is the bolts. And these are the replacement bolts for 2003 to 2006. They are metric. They are 10.9 class. They're yellow zinc plated, hardened. The washers are also 10.9 class, yellow zinc plated, hardened, extra thick washers. This is heavy duty stuff. So that's what you want. All right, so next thing we're going to talk about is what you have to do to remove the old Nutsert and what you'll need to install the new Nutserts. So if your old Nutsert is spinning in the frame and you can't get your skid plate down, you're going to need to cut the bolt off for your skid plate in order to get the skid plate down. And then once it's down, you're going to have to take an angle grinder to grind the flange off the old Nutsert, as well as what's left of the bolt that's sticking down, until you get to the point where you can punch what's left of the old Nutsert up into the frame. At that point, you're going to need to expand the size of the holes in your frame rail. They are 5/8 from the factory, and they need to be 11/16 to install these Nutserts. So I use step drill bits to do that. It's real easy. Just pay attention when you're doing it and don't go too far. If you go over 11/16, then there's nothing you can do at that point because there's no Nutserts bigger than that. So at that point, I'll show you next how to put the tool together and get ready to install the new Nutsert. All right, so next part, I'm going to show you how to put the tool together. So the first thing you want to do is take the bolt and the nut, and you want to spin the nut onto the bolt all the way down. The washer goes on over the top of that, and then the thrust bearing goes with the writing towards the washer, part without writing that's cupped facing up towards the Nutsert. Then you want to take one of the new Nutserts and screw it onto there all the way until it's all the way tightened down. And then we'll show the install next. All right, so what I got here, this is a scrap piece of frame from a JK that was rusted out that I'm going to use to demo this. And I'm using this because when you actually install this in your TJ, you're not going to be able to see inside the frame rail. But here you will be able to, so you can see what's going on with these, and hopefully it'll help you understand how these work. So the Nutsert fits into the hole, and as you can see, it is a tight fit in there. You want these to pretty much just barely fit through the hole. And you're going to take your two 19mm wrenches, use the box end of the wrench on the bolt, and then use hex, or the open end of the wrench on the hex nut. And you want to hold the bolt still while you tighten the nut towards the Nutsert. And it takes a good bit of force to do this. It's kind of tough to get it started. Once it gets going, it's a little easier in the middle part of the process. But the reason for holding the bolt still is so you don't strip the threads on the Nutsert. The nut is basically pulling the Nutsert up towards the inside of the frame rail without moving the threads inside of it at all. So you just continue to tighten until it reaches a point where it feels like it's not going to move anymore. I'm probably getting fairly close there, and you can probably see on the video inside the Nutsert compressing in there. And right there, I'm feeling the point where it's getting really tight. I can't turn it anymore, so that is it. Don't go further than that. Take your wrench and reverse the nut. And that'll get your tool back out. And here you can take a good look at the inside of the frame rail at what the Nutsert looks like fully compressed inside there. And if you look inside the Nutsert from the top, you can see that it drawed the threaded section all the way up towards the top. Another thing on these is, these hold real well on their own, but you can also add either epoxy or Loctite in between the Nutsert and the frame for some added, assurance, or you can tack weld the flange of the Nutsert to the frame after the fact as well for some, extra reinsurance that these won't spit out on you in the future. Okay, so to finish this up, this tool is reusable many times. This is all, heavy duty stuff that you can use over and over. The last thing that you're gonna do, when you put your skid plate back up, is to install the bolts and torque them to 55 foot-pounds. It is recommended that you use anti-seize on the threads, and if you do, reduce the torque on the bolts by 20% because anti-seize does affect your torque spec. You don't want to over-torque them with the Nutserts. But that pretty much about covers it, and so that's replacement Nutserts for 2003 to 2006 Jeep Wrangler TJ. Thanks.